Hey, I'm Comrade Shane, and welcome to Juche Lessons. Today we will be discussing another aspect in the socio-historic principles of Juche philosophy, that political, economic, ideological, and cultural life are the main fields of social life. A correct understanding of the main fields of social life are very important in understanding the essence of society. Since society is a collective in which people live and act, social life has a diversified and complicated form covering different fields. Social life is divided into political life, economic life, and ideological and cultural life. The most important social life is political life. Some people take an indifferent attitude to political issues and political life, thinking that statesmen and scholars should care for politics. For a long time since the emergence of division of labor, society has had a political circle, economic circle, and cultural circle, and has had politicians, business people, and artists working in these fields. But it is a harmful phenomenon for the popular masses to participate only in economic and cultural life while neglecting political life. As President Kim Il-sung said, quote, "The political life, which provides the people with genuine political freedom and rights as masters of the state and society, guarantees valuable socio-political integrity for them and enables them to add luster to it is the most important of all their activities." End quote. Political life is, briefly, the life to realize the essential demand of a social being, desirous of living and developing as master of the society and state. In other words, it is the activities to provide the people with genuine political freedom and rights as masters of the state and society, guarantees valuable socio-political integrity for them, and enables them to add luster to it. Since political life is linked with politics, it is necessary to know politics in order to have a deep understanding of political life. Politics is a social function to organize and control people's activities in a unified way according to the common interests of a class and society. Every member of society has commonness as well as differences in their demands and interests. Without organizing and controlling these activities in a unified way, it is impossible to maintain and develop society. Accordingly, politics exists in any society. In class society, politics assumes class character. The class character of politics depends on which class's interests it advocates. Politics that defends the interests of exploiter class is power politics of the exploiter class, and the politics that defends the interests of working class and broad working masses is people's politics. Since politics is a social function, It is conducted through a certain political organization, particularly state power and mass political organizations. State power is a comprehensive political organization that exercises political command over a society. State power is a comprehensive political organization that exercises political command over a society. With government, executive organ, justice, prosecution, security organ, and other state organs, the state power conducts politics over all members of the society. In a class society, state power assumes class character. In exploiter society, the state power is the tools of the ruling class to rule the society according to their interests and to keep dictatorship over the working people. In addition to state power, there are other political organizations in which the people who share the same ideology are involved, such as party, youth union, trade union, women's union, and other mass political organizations, formed according to social stratum, occupation, etc. Political life is therefore divided into state political life to enjoy genuine political freedom and rights as master of state power, and political organizational life, in which they assume socio-political integrity and add luster to it. Their significance and role have been different in different stages and different societies. Political life is the field that has decisive significance in social life. That is because the overall social life depends on political life. Since politics plays the major role in society, when humanity leads political life in an independent way, they can also lead economic and cultural life independently. If oppressed politically without rights, they cannot escape from economic misery and cultural ignorance and prejudice. That is also because socio-political life is the most valuable life for a social being. Next, we'll discuss economic life, another part of social life. Economic life is a social life to produce, distribute, exchange, and consume material data necessary for food, clothing, and housing. Without these means of life, people cannot survive. Economic life, therefore, exists in any society along with humanity. What is important in economic life is labor life to produce material wealth. Labor life is purposeful and conscious activities to create material wealth by remaking nature. Only through producing material wealth can people survive and develop. Only when there is labor life to produce material wealth can there be material life to consume them. Labor life is therefore primary in economic life, and the emergence of human beings is closely associated with labor. In the production of material wealth, humans with labor power, labor tools, and labor targets are three elements of production. And here, humans with labor power and labor tools constitute productive forces. Labor power consists of scientific and technical know-how, experience, function, skill, etc., and is guaranteed by health. Tools of production, labor tools, means material and technical means necessary for production. What is major in the composition of productive forces is humans. As I mentioned in a previous episode, of course, the level of development of production tools express the level of development of productive forces. It is, however, humans who make and use production tools. Without humans, there cannot be production tools. The decisive factor in the development of productive forces is, therefore, to enhance creative ability. What is also important in economic life is material life, to consume produced material wealth. The consumption of material wealth is necessary for survival and development of humanity. Without consumption, humans cannot maintain their physical life. Everyone wants to enjoy rich material life. Only when humans enjoy equal and rich material life can they lead an independent and creative life as a social being. Whether or not they enjoy labor life and material life that suit their essential demands is decided by relations of production and economic system. As social relations of people in economic life, the relations of production include social relations of economic life, such as production, distribution, exchange, and consumption. What is important in the relations of production are the relations of property over the means of production. Those who have means of production have rights to organize the production and to deal with them. The producers of material wealth in exploiter society are the people, but they suffer from pains and poverty because they don't have means of production. Only in socialist society, where the social property over the means of production prevails, can the people enjoy material wealth as masters of economic life. Economic life constitutes the basis of social life. For survival and development, humans should have means of life and consumption. Economic life is the field of social life that provides material conditions necessary for humanity's survival and development. Therefore, economic life materially guarantees not only cultural life, but also political life. Self-sufficiency in economic life can lead to independence in political life. Economic subjugation leads to political subjugation. Economic life materially guarantees cultural life. When economically rich, one can enhance cultural and sentimental demand and realize it. Without sufficient economic life, one can hardly enjoy cultural life. Now we'll discuss ideological and cultural life, the third part of social life. Humans are not satisfied with only food, clothing, and housing, but want to lead a beautiful, noble, and civilized life with sound ideology, sentiments, and rich knowledge. The field of social life to satisfy these demands is ideological and cultural life. Through ideological and cultural life, people acquire independent ideological consciousness, creative ability, and noble spiritual and moral traits to realize various cultural and sentimental demands. In general, there are spiritual culture and material culture, but the culture, in a narrow sense, is spiritual culture to satisfy people's spiritual demand and to train them into powerful beings. But in spiritual culture, as consciousness that reflects people's demand and interests, social ideology plays the decisive role in people's activities. Therefore, it is called ideological and cultural life, instead of merely cultural life. Ideological and cultural life is a field of social life to acquire independent ideological consciousness, creative ability, and noble spiritual and moral traits that are suited to the nature of a social being. Only when humans have independent ideological consciousness and creative ability through ideological and cultural life can they become independent and creative beings and masters of their own destiny. But ideology and knowledge are not inborn, nor can they be acquired automatically. Humans can acquire independent ideological consciousness and creative ability and enhance them through ideological and cultural life. Ideological and cultural life is the field of social life also to realize diversified cultural and sentimental demands. It is a particular characteristic of humans that they have cultural and sentimental demand. This demand develops higher when humanity gets more free from fetters of nature and society and lead a richer life without worry about food, clothes, and housing. People create and enjoy valuable cultural wealth, including art and literature, and thus meet cultural and sentimental demand of social being, desirous of leading cheerful, beautiful, and noble life with high sense of cultural traits. In this sense, ideological and cultural life includes not only ideological life to arm the people with independent ideological consciousness and enhance them, but also science, education, public health, sports, art, and literature. Genuine ideological and cultural life is possible only in socialist society, where the people are masters. In a capitalist country, there prevail reactionary ideology and culture, corrupt bourgeois way of life, inhumane ideology and culture that make people spiritually and physically distorted. As the sound ideology, culture, and way of life that reflect essential demand of the working people prevail only in socialist society, people can develop themselves into more powerful beings, enjoying genuine ideological and cultural life. Ideological and cultural life takes a very important place in social life. Political and economic life is the life of the people, so its level of development depends on how the people are prepared. Through ideological and cultural life, people become social beings with high sense of ideological consciousness, creative ability, noble spiritual and moral traits, and diversified cultural and sentimental traits. Only then can they become genuine masters of state and society and create and enjoy more material wealth. As I mentioned earlier, ideological life, economic life, and cultural life are independent fields of social life, but they are closely interlinked. Therefore, in order to develop social life, it is important to develop political life, economic life, ideological, and cultural life in a unified way. That's all for this episode. Check out our Facebook and Twitter pages for more Juche and DPRK content, which I will leave links to in the description of this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, so we can raise the revolutionary consciousness of the masses. And because I run solely on your motivation and encouragement. Red salute, Juche comrades!